welcome to the MovieJar podcast, where this week not reviewed, we watched Battle Royale.
I mean, technically, we're
Um,
reviewing it.
We've
Yeah, we
already
are
reviewed it. Episode's over. Go fuck yourself.
oh no, but I wanted to say more.
No. No, Cameron, don't you
No.
remember? We already reviewed it. We watched Hunger Games.
Huh? Oh no, I will be rediscussing that in this episode.
Oh,
You
God.
cannot gaslight me this time.
This episode is going to be so fucking long.
No, I'm gonna keep it concise. I promise.
Next most popular episode. Let's go. 3-hour long episode.
I'm going
Can we
to be
click-
up so late last night waiting for this episode to fucking export.
Can we clickbait it where I just kill one of you?
Sure.
All right, awesome, thanks. That's the
Right,
market.
maybe
That's the
introduce-
And,
market.
yeah, are you going to introduce yourself, Mr. Narrator?
Hey, we have fans now. Shout out to Gilbert. They know who we are.
Hi,
I
Gilbert.
fucking love you, Gilbert.
Hi, Gilbert.
I don't
To
know
the
who you
Gilberts
are,
of the audience.
but you're amazing.
Hi.
Is Chris not aware of Gilbert?
No, Chris is very aware of Gilbert.
Chris is aware of Gilbert.
I am aware
And-
of Gilbert.
Gilbert, you chose a great name. It's awesome.
Everyone else watching is going to be so confused, like, who the fuck is Gilbert?
Oh, you know,
Gilbert's
it's
my
Gilbert.
friend.
Shout
Gilbert's
out
a
to
real
Gilbert.
one. Shout out to Gilbert.
Can we get Gilbert on the pod?
Gilbert, the next Anonymous.
Look, we'll review the Minecraft movie and we'll have Gilbert on the pod.
Oh
Let's go.
God, I
Oh
would
my
rather
God,
die
holy
than review the Minecraft movie. You know what my
But what
letterbox
about-
review for the Minecraft movie is? It's just
Let
all
that
it says.
steal.
All it says is baby slop.
Can you give me your letterbox
No.
username so that I can
Does-
stalk you on the letterbox?
No.
Does anyone want to get some Molotov cocktails and then wait until they say Flint and Steel and then just fucking like light ourselves on fire?
I'm gonna say
No,
no.
'cause that would damage the theater, and I have respect for the institution of theater. That's the only institution I have respect for.
Oh, speaking of respect for institutions of film,
Anyway, are we gonna introduce ourselves?
oh yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alex.
How you doing?
Shut up. Hi, I'm
You should
Alex.
know us by now.
All you have to say is your name.
Hi, I am Alex. I am a 3D animator, and currently I am obsessed with the fantasy world that I'm creating and exists wholly within my head, and every time I attempt to explain it to a person, I sound like a raving lunatic and they kill themselves in front of me.
Wizard
no.
Joust.
You are a raging. You are a raving lunatic, Alex. I'm here for it.
Don't get me
Mm.
started on the thousands of years of history. Anyway,
Wizard
Cameron, you're next.
Joust.
Anyways, hi, I'm Cameron. I'm the one who's leading this episode. This is my movie. No
Yeah, you
further
made it.
information is given.
You made
You
it.
said leaving,
Yeah, I
and
moved.
was
I made
like,
this movie.
On God, you were
Yeah,
there
I'm-
like 40 years ago.
40 years.
This
Chris,
movie
this
came out in
movie was released-
2003, Chris.
No,
It's-
I was-
It's as old as us.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
2000.
like
It's not
I was
lava.
thinking like being
Amazon
born
lied to
40
me.
years ago to be old enough to make this movie.
I was making movies in the womb.
Bro, I hope you realize that I literally, like, started a 7-day free trial of a streaming service that's connected to Amazon.
Yeah,
Just so
Mubi?
I could watch it. Yeah, Mubi, yeah. And I immediately turned it off the second that I finished watching the movie. I immediately got rid of it.
Good. Which version did you watch? Actually, before you answer that,
The one that's
would
on
you like to-
Amazon.
What's your name? Who are you? Why are you in my house?
I broke in. I broke in to see the cat.
No!
I'm Kaya. I don't know, I'm a film student. Yippee, I'm working on a really cool and very topical, film for my final year project. Yay.
Damn, I thought you would have shoved a Sinners shout out in there somewhere. but
Yeah,
alright.
shout out to Ryan
Oh my
Coogler, my
gosh.
goat.
Shut up,
Peak
Ryan,
Cinema.
Sinners, go watch it now.
Peak Cinema. Nah, anyway, yeah.
Yes,
Pass the mic to this strange old person in the corner. Who is he?
the person who says to get out of my balls.
Not Gilbert. That's who.
Man,
I don't want
I'm Chris. I'm not explaining further.
Well, I mean, in the description of our videos, I just put down that that you're a gym bro, so you know, I feel like that sums it up.
I do kind of
Why do you
introduce
give
Chris
this-
as a like actually describe you as a gym bro to most of my friends when they ask about you.
Yeah,
Damn.
gym rat kind of sums it up pretty well, if I'm being honest.
No,
I say that
gym rat
I say that
gym
as a
rat is
compliment.
different. A gym rat is different to a gym bro. But that's a conversation for a different time. Anyways,
Anyway,
Royale.
Battle
Really getting
Royale.
into semantics of this.
Cameron, why don't you tell us what this movie was about?
Okay, so this movie is just better than The Hunger Games, right? So
Okay, no. First of all,
No,
introduce the
plot
movie
first.
first. Plot first.
first.
Hunger Games later. You cretin.
Don't make me air horn you.
Like it's like a water bowl.
Yeah.
It's like a
that's
spray
kinda
bottle and
gay.
you're a cat.
Anyways, this this movie was made in the year 2000, where it was a movie that attempted to show the brutality of Japanese nationalism by form of population control, in which that was the adaptation of the book. It features 42 high school students in the same class, all going and getting basically kidnapped, and then being like, "Hey, here's a bomb around your neck. Go kill everyone within the next 3 days, otherwise you die too." And that's the movie.
Oh, the sequel is the one that came out in 2003. There's a sequel?
Yeah, there's
This
four
looks
novels.
like shit.
There's 4 novels.
There's
Please tell
novels?
me that the sequel
Yeah,
is shit so I
Battle
can
Royale
justify
is-
myself
Battle
saying that
Royale
it
is an
looks like shit.
adaptation. I haven't actually seen the sequel, so I can't give you an opinion on that.
You're a fake fan.
I know
Are
way
we
more about this
really
movie than
getting
you
in-
do, so don't
Are we
fucking
really
come at
getting
me with
into
that.
poserism? Jesus Christ. It was alright, this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were less mistakes made in Hunger Games. I'm saying it. Like,
Okay.
some of the characters' deaths in the Hunger Games were really fucking dumb. But some of the deaths in this one, they're just like, how many clips of ammunition do you have for this submachine gun? Okay, where are you keeping them? I don't see that you have like fucking 80-foot pockets. Let me unload another 5,000 rounds into this one guy. And then like, oh, I'm out of ammunition. Oh no, I come in with a samurai sword and get on top of this building. And I jump down, break my leg, and I stab you. Oh wait, no, I had ammunition the entire time, and I'm gonna shoot at the protagonist while I'm blind and bleeding black blood out of my eyes. That's great. It's great writing. I love it. It makes so much sense. Good lord, this
Damn,
movie
Chris's like inability to
weird.
suspend his belief is kind of funny.
I
You
don't know,
have to
man.
try.
I don't know, man. It got to the point where I was like, look, the pistols ran out of bullets, but that semi-automatic
Submachine
I mean,
gun.
okay, yeah, okay, to be
gun
fair,
never ran out of bullets.
to be fair, I was thinking that too, but then I also remembered that this is a movie.
Well, no, I get
With
it's a
movie
movie, but
logic?
okay. No. I get that. I get its movie logic. However, it is also going off Battle Royale logic, which is that there's a limited amount of resources, and you have to fight each other and secure extra resources in order to get the upper hand. So the fact he had like 10 billion clips of submachine gun ammo was a little crazy.
No, he just
Like,
had them like stored away in his ass, just like ready.
In his ass cheeks.
But
at all
before,
times.
well, I mean, he signed up to do it, so he was prepared. You don't know, he could have stored them.
You know, when I killed the submachine gun guy, and I tried to take his fucking machine gun, damn, that stank like shit. And I took his pants off, and I was wondering, and I found a billion mags.
Why did you take his pants off, Chris?
Oh, fuck
No.
off, you people. I am
this bit
sick
again.
of this.
You
I'm
people.
tired. I'm so fucking every day. For the last like 3 days, it's been, hey Chris, that's pretty gay, bro. That's pretty gay. At
You
any
called
point.
Alex Sweetums.
Schnookums.
It was Schnookums.
Sweetie pie. You called me 3 things. You called me honey.
Anyway,
The-
that
It
wasn't the that.
prompted. It was just like, let's go. Honey was seeing the Lord of the Rings musical, and I was
it
like,
was so funny. We are
Anyway,
seeing that Lord of the Rings musical, by the way.
that wasn't the plot hole that I was gonna bring up. I was gonna bring up the fact that like the beginning scene shows that this is clearly televised, or it's at least news. But how the hell did these high schoolers not know?
actually, that was what I was gonna bring up. Like,
that's my issue. How the fuck did they not know?
I was confused about that too. Like,
I have context for that.
yeah, well, shut
I'm
up.
I'm putting my hand up.
Yeah, well, let us vent first, and then you can supply context. So that way you know exactly what to answer. Like, I did year 11, year 12 English. I know that a lot of people in that class did not pay attention to world news. I was the only person who frequently put my hand up to answer questions about what was going on in the fucking Hong Kong. No one knew what was happening in Hong Kong. Only I and the teacher knew.
I don't know about your school, but everyone in my school, other than the boarding students, watched the news.
Yeah, well, mine
Same
never
here.
did. But I damn well know that if there was a law which said that if you vaped, you would be sent directly into penis explosion chambers, and like you'd be forced to fight each other, else your penises would explode, they would know. And this is one of those situations where it's like, so it's televised, but the people who could be sent to a death camp just don't know, apparently.
I also like how the fuck do the because the parents would know even if the kids don't watch the news. Why did the parents say anything?
Yeah, also they said they notified their parents, which is like, okay, did you notify them that their child was dead or their child was missing, or did you just tell them they're competing in a death game because you think they're stupid, Lamau? Okay, no, that's my plot hole in this film, and it's really nitpicky. But Chris was nitpicky. I get to be nitpicky, all right? Because again, we can be extra critical with this film because part of this podcast's existence came from this stupid discussion as to which is better, Hunger Games or Battle Royale, which we will answer at the end.
Cameron.
Yeah.
After all available evidence is presented to mainly Chris and I, because we're the impartial parties here. But I mean, I don't really get the point of the death game. Like, okay. At the start, it said like, Japan's literacy rates have fallen down, and because of that, students are becoming stupid, dumb idiots who are rioting against the teachers, and so the government instituted a game which would just kill them.
It's giving the
can't-
thinning.
No, but I
No, don't bring that up around. We don't say that name.
I get the whole argument that like Kyra you can make, which is, suspend your disbelief. It's essentially a young adult thing. It has some metaphorical implications of like what it's like graduating, feeling like you have to betray each other, looking in the job market. I get that, but like in the actual text of it, what was that Senate meeting like? What was the Senate meeting of, hello, Japan, we're the country which has like the opposite of an overpopulation problem,
Yeah.
literally no one in this country wants to fuck. Instead of instituting slave labor, how about we institute a game which isn't even televised to just randomly select whole ass classes and kill all of them till there's only one remaining? Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, it's honestly a really good idea. Passed. Approved.
Excellent argument. Approved.
Like, I feel as if wouldn't they just, if they had a bunch of uneducated people like that, wouldn't they just institute like more intense labor laws and like if they want to do something draconian, why wouldn't they just introduce something like slavery instead? Like, why would you wholesale kill a whole class?
Also, why high schoolers?
Well, yeah, because like my thing is that is it randomly picked from every class in the country, or is it just randomly picked from all the classes that have the stupidest people in it?
I think it's picked from all the
Because-
grade 9 classes, right?
Well, yeah, but if it's all the grade 9 classes, then that means that fucking
What if I drop out before year 9? What then, huh?
if it's all the grade 9 classes, then that means that they could just wipe out a bunch of people who would have been like high skill workers because they're like, Lamau, we gotta do a death game. Because the teacher, who's probably the best character in this film, is like, I hate my students from the 7th grade irrationally, and my daughter hates me, and I'm gonna kill them myself.
Also, I can just take 1,000 gunshots and then stand back up, tell my wife to fuck off, and then
Yeah.
die, and then die.
Bro just
because
didn't
of
die.
course. Bro.
He was like, hold on, my dumb bitch daughter's calling. I gotta quickly tell her I hate her before I die.
If this movie
He's like,
had
God
a
can
few
wait.
more moments like that, and it was just fucking funny, I would have loved it a lot more. And it would have been so much funnier because the Uzi thing would have been on par with it. But no, of course not, because we just
random pedophilia.
actually that's true. That's
Yeah.
really cool movie.
That was
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna. We will discuss that.
I feel as though there's like a significant amount of the movie missing, or just like
No,
in
we
the
watched the
wrong
director's
place.
cut.
Well, the director is really fucking weird.
There was actually a lot of the movie missing.
In our cut?
Yeah,
Oh. Well,
the supposed
never
director's cut still had a lot missing.
Is that why I was wondering why the fuck this was an R rating when it was not? It was not really R-rated content.
I'm sorry, what?
On Amazon, it says it's rated R, like Australian rated R. It's R18.
You didn't see all the brutal murder?
You didn't see the
It's not
beheading?
that bad.
Oh, come on, Chris. You would
Christopher.
get
It's
Fuck.
not that. First of all,
You're
it's not that
getting
bad. Second of all, beheading. What cut did I
when the
watch?
guy- Wait, no. You know when
You-
that guy who was riding the bike gets chased down by edgy anime swordsman with the Uzi and then gets surprise attack, he cuts his head off and then throws his head through a
Oh,
window
yeah.
with a grenade. which
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't that bad.
That was like one of the most metal parts of the movie.
That wasn't that bad.
Fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah, I'm
That-
with Cameron on this
That
one.
really wasn't
No,
that bad.
not that bad.
I've watched more gory stuff. I don't think that was really
Cool, man.
R.
You guys have not watched Shaun of the Dead yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
damn.
well-
If I
Yes, I have. That was also R-rated.
Yeah, but it's also a lot worse than this film.
Well, yeah,
It's
but
also
like if I make a spicy dish and then I give you a slightly less spicier dish, that doesn't make it like not spicy. It's still spicy.
That's
it's still R-rated.
okay. Okay, that's like comparing like a jalapeno to like a ghost pepper.
No, it's like comparing a Carolina Reaper to a ghost pepper. The reason I'd say the violence in this film constitutes the Australian R rating because there's certain amounts of like glee taken in the killing of certain children. Like whether or not it's gory or not, the psychological element is there that certain people upon watching this film would potentially have the chance to have like serious night terrors.
There is
Obviously
also
not us, but like just because you don't think it's that gory doesn't mean it doesn't justify the R rating.
there
to
is
be
also
fair, the
discussions
Australian
of things
rating
such as
system is
pedophilia.
very. The Australian
That is
rating
true.
system is very
That
dumb at
could- that
times.
could push. I don't
There
know.
are-
The
there-
stuff about the pedophilia I could see maybe going up there. I might change my perspective. on it
Also,
that way.
also remarks regarding sexual assault.
Uh,
I'm a.
the movie was a little bit.
The thing with the
Hmm.
pedophilia is I feel like it like it wasn't as okay. I don't know if this was the cut I watched or not, but like it wasn't
Did
like
you have a scene featuring pedophilia?
Well,
well okay.
we
Do you
don't see the
mean
actual act.
explicit or like just implied?
Very
It-
heavily implied.
So, okay,
It
so
is.
it didn't happen, but it was going to happen. The child pushed the guy down the stairs, which is
Yeah.
perfectly reasonable. We also see it like before it panning to the child. Like the mother has like a fuckload of money on the desk, and she's
Yeah,
saying
I
like,
didn't see
"I
that.
hope you don't grow up as weak."
Okay, you did not
I
watch
do.
the director's cut then.
No, I
Yeah.
did not, because I
You
watched
watched the
whatever one. I
theatrical
watched
release.
whichever one was on Amazon.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was gonna say, because
Apparently,
like there was like implied stuff like in the cut I watched, like with the teacher and the main character girl. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, but okay.
I just can't get over the fact that you would disagree that this movie is R18.
I think it's
Hmm.
R18 for the pedophilia, not for the gore.
What was that?
Okay. Explain what would be an R18 sequence of gore for you then, Chris?
Oh, slow dismemberment.
Jesus, what is wrong with you?
That's a snuff film, Christopher.
No, as in like you know in Shaun of the Dead, where like
No.
at the end of the film the guy is like having his guts ripped out by
We
a horde
haven't
of zombies
watched
as
the
he
movie
screams.
yet, Chris.
I have.
Hush.
Look in
No,
the camera. Like that.
That's probably one of the most extreme cases possible.
There's
And
worse.
you want the. It doesn't matter that there's worse. You have to set a reasonable baseline, and not everyone likes watching.
Well,
people
then
get
mine is
brutally
screwed, and you
murdered.
guys can make your own.
I just sort of assumed that it was rated R because like things were a lot more like not censored but like a lot easier to rate R how do I say content such
Also-
as that was like a lot more common to be rated R. Like I think it was I think like last year there was some like 7 News flashback thing about like the rating system and when it was updated, and like movies like I think like Hellraiser and stuff were originally banned because they were too explicit even for the new update, and then they changed it. The new Silent Hill game that's coming out was rated just banned in Australia for like
Yeah.
12 hours, and then they rated it R. So like even in the 2000s, like they were still super sensitive about content, so I just assumed that it was just rated that like if it was released today it would be rated MA15.
Well, this movie was banned in South Korea,
That checks out.
and they attempted to ban it within Japan, and they also attempted to ban it within within America as well.
America, really?
Yes, it was.
South
there was an
South
attempted
Korea,
ban.
South Korea, I can absolutely understand, but I did not expect America.
Both the Japanese government and the American government were like, "Nah, this is too much. This needs to get banned."
I mean, to be fair, it is 15-year-olds killing each other in very graphic ways.
Yeah.
And not only just the movie getting banned, the novel was they attempted to ban the novel as well.
On release or when the movie was released? Like on release of the novel or
when the novel got translated to English
I see.
because of the movie.
I see.
The censorship regarding this movie was so bad that this movie didn't actually get a proper theatrical release in the West until 2012.
Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Despite the fact that the Japanese government tried to also ban it and the novel back when it first released. So I think like if they're willing to ban a movie, they're probably going to make it RET.
Well, yeah, exactly. But like, I think
That makes sense.
given like content released nowadays and the rating of content nowadays, like, okay, this is a slightly different example, but it kind of like proves my theory. Is like, so I remember watching like reality TV in the 2010s, like MasterChef, Biggest Loser, whatever. They would censor certain words, and nowadays those exact same words on the exact same shows are not censored. So like, I don't know. Like, they used to censor bitch. That's not censored nowadays. So like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if it was released like this year, I feel like it might have gotten a different rating or a different reaction.
The main thing that causes this movie to get an R18 in Australia is because it has intense graphic scenes of violence. Because the baseline for MA15 is that it is like it contains like either implied or very minor sex scenes and drug use, things that can have a strong impact on a viewer. But R18, the moment that you push that like violence barrier, you're done. You need to go to R18,
Really?
which is why movies like Deadpool, specifically Deadpool 2, got put to a R18.
I mean, fair
You know,
enough.
Deadpool
seeing
2's R18?
Yes, seeing
What?
Deadpool getting ripped in half multiple times.
That's R18.
Really?
Well, yeah, because like we may be accustomed to it because we grew up as like emotionally numbed people on the internet, but at the same time, you got to realize there are also a whole group of people out there who don't usually seek that stuff out necessarily, and particularly with Deadpool, sure, you can make it MA15 plus, but the parent sees that it's R18, that really sets the tone for whether or not like any kid should watch it and the real age you should be.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was R18. I thought it was MA this whole time.
Nope.
Huh.
But
Would
Deadpool
you
1 and
look at
2
that?
were R18. I think Deadpool and Wolverine has been made a MA15. I'm not entirely certain on that.
Oh,
Uh,
Deadpool and
the-
Wolverine I did not think would get an R18 rating.
So the Blu-ray release of Deadpool 2 is MA15 because they actually changed it in
Huh.
accordance to Australian law for the Blu-ray release. But in terms of the theatrical release, yes, it was R-rated.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, cause like,
Classifiable elements. Oh no, you go.
oh, it's just cause like, I know in America what they call R is what we would call MA.
Yeah, it's like for us to get an R18, it is a obscene amount of gore and violence usually, which this movie has.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
You know,
It's
you wouldn't
41
see
children all being murdered.
not 41, but
2, I thought.
no,
No, it's like 39.
it's about 39 because it's a class of 42. Oh no, class of 41. Yeah, 39 because it ends up only being the two.
No, it's 42.
Is it?
We really
God, now
watched-
It's 42.
no.
But
Oh,
40
no.
people end up dying in the end because the guy
The-
dies on the boat.
Yeah, the dementia's kicking in.
Oh,
I
come
think-
on,
40,
my thing.
41 counting the teacher.
I think
I mean,
part
like,
of
yeah, you
my
don't see
like
sorry.
I think part of
Sorry.
my view on like gore and stuff is slightly skewed for this movie specifically. Because like especially like the blood, it's like so obviously fake. Like I think that's sort of like why it doesn't strike me as like as gory as if it was like super realistic. Which isn't me saying that I want it super realistic. It's just like That's why I don't have a problem watching like horror movies from the 80s and stuff like Evil Dead or Hellraiser or like any of those slashers, is because it's so obviously fake that the gore doesn't bother me.
Mm. Well, there's a very famous goof in terms of the practical effects with the theatrical cut. Where do you remember at the start of the film where the girl gets a knife thrown at her head?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the theatrical cut, when the teacher pulls it out of her head, he is very clearly not reaching for her forehead and rather reaching much lower on her face. And
What do you mean?
everyone has noticed it when it came out. To a point where it was something that they actually went and in post they changed it for the director's cut.
What do you mean?
So when the teacher pulls out the knife from the girl's forehead,
Uh-huh.
right? He is very clearly not pulling it out of her forehead.
Uh-huh.
That was what it was like in the theatrical release, which is the version that you saw. So people complained about that back in Japan.
Damn.
Yeah. And so in the director's cut, they went back into the scene in post production and changed where his arm was.
So how low? Wait, where was he? Like, where was his arm going? Like her face?
I
or
have an
something?
actual direct comparison here. Let me get it up for you.
Broke him with receipts.
Whoa, that's pretty gay.
Huh?
What? There's nothing homoerotic about that, Christopher.
Let me get it up.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Christopher, that was really childish of you.
Oh, fuck off. All you've been doing is shit to me.
So-
Come on.
So this is, you probably should not be showing this on the recording.
It's not like we're monetized anyway.
True, but so that's the director's cut where he's pulling it out of her forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that these images are tiny, but this is the theatrical release where he's very clearly just directly picking it off the floor.
It is a bit weird.
And people in Japan genuinely complained about that. And then when it got to America in theatrical release back in 2012, people then complained about it again.
Jesus.
Is it just me, or does his arm look thicker in, like, the bottom one?
Yeah, it's because they moved it. So they actually they had to thin his arm down to manipulate where it was. Also in the director's cut, they also didn't have the grenade scene with the dismembered head, right?
Hmm?
There was there's a flashback with the director's cut. And then, but that wasn't there in the theatrical release. So it was just, oh, that's a grenade in the head. Boom. Which I think makes the scene a bit better, but
Yeah. I don't even remember the guy's name who had the submachine gun. All I know is he was fucking crazy.
The only one with dyed hair.
Yeah.
Anime
Yes.
swordsman.
he was a transfer
Bro, I was
student.
I was watching it, I'm like, where the fuck did you get a sword?
That's my question.
Like,
Was he
who's-
keeping that
who's-
asshole too?
I was like, well, no, he obviously picked it off one of the people he killed, but I'm like, whose body did you loot for that?
I
Also-
was kind of sad that the person with the sickle didn't go further.
Yeah, that's another thing for the R18 rating. A direct murder on screen like that.
Mm.
Also, lots of suicide. Trigger
Oh
warning.
yeah, the two people well, I mean, not even relating to suicide, like the two people hanging via a noose outside.
Oh, are we not
Holy
talking
shit,
about
the-
the 3 separate people who jumped?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Probably should
there's a
put a trigger
lot.
warning at the start of this episode. To be, I'm thinking about it.
Huh?
Viewer
Probably should put a
discretion
trigger
is
warning.
advised.
Well, no, I mean, like, this episode, I'm realizing this kind of covers a lot of very heavy topics. We probably should put a trigger warning at the start of this episode.
Well, if they haven't seen Battle Royale, then why are they watching?
No, okay, that's. You can watch. You should be able to watch an episode of this podcast without seeing the movie initially.
Huh?
Man, a lot of our viewers do that. They listen to it so that way they can hear us talk about the film.
Yeah, shout out to Gilbert.
No, Gilbert only watches the episodes of movies that Gilbert has watched.
I hope Gilbert has watched Battle Royale.
I'll tell Gilbert too.
Yay.
Wait, hang on. What do you mean they don't have... I don't know, the reviews are always completely full of spoilers, so like, what's the point if they haven't already watched it? Anyway.
No, I completely
Well,
understand,
like-
but majority of reviews end up
We
being
are
full of spoilers.
allegedly we are kind of calming to listen to whilst
We are
working on
ASMR.
assessments.
I'm sorry, what?
Is
We are
that what
ASMR.
is that what Jaden said?
Jaden says it. Some of my friends have said they listen to the podcast while working.
Let's change that. Hey, Christopher, what's your thoughts on Obsidian Glass?
No, please. Can we please just?
Alright, we're getting
Look,
to the meat and
spray
potatoes
bottle.
of the episode.
Spray bottle.
Alright? We're getting to the meat potatoes.
Fuck you.
Cameron.
Fuck
Mhm.
you, Cameron.
Cameron.
Hang on, we haven't even like gone around the circle asking if people like the movie yet or not.
Oh, did you?
I feel like we could probably do that at the end so that way we can I guess we could do it now, but like
Hmm.
did you
Just
like the movie,
fucking do
Kyle?
Eh.
Eh?
I neither like I don't have strong feelings about it.
You were whelmed.
I am whelmed.
Hmm.
I got what I was
You know what?
I got what I was expecting.
You know what? I will. I'll take that as a win for me.
What, that I didn't absolutely hate it?
Yeah, no, that's a win in my books.
What do you mean?
From my track record.
Yes, because you
With my
pick
movie.
weird movies, Cameron. This is a very straightforward movie. Well, okay, there's a lot of like undertones to it, you know, but like
I pick art. Thank you very much. Like
Says-
Sean Connery in spandex.
no, I was gonna say says Now You See Me Too.
No, yeah, no, that's high art.
Fucking space, baby.
You know, Now You See Me Too was brought up in my class the other day
Oh my god.
because I brought up that they named the sequel to Ready or Not to be Ready or Not Here I Come, and then my teacher was like, "Yeah, such a missed opportunity with Now You See Me Too."
Damn.
They are doing it with the third one, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Cameron, what did you think of this film?
Look, I do like this movie a lot. I do think it's not. I don't think it's like the most high class piece of film ever. But I think at the time for the time that it was made, it was a good protest piece against Japanese nationalism and martial law that was trying to take over the country at the time.
Alex.
And I do think it's better than that, yes.
Well, yeah, we
I
established
actually
that.
quite like
Sorry.
I actually quite liked this film. I found it to be something that was very interesting. I really, I have mixed feelings on it, but those mixed feelings aren't necessarily bad. They're just a lot of interesting thoughts, I guess I could say. I liked the fact that it really didn't attempt to dumb down the violence of these horrible acts against children. I really loved the small moments between side characters that sort of expanded out this class. It didn't quite provide the extensive history that I look for in a lot of stories, but I did like the fact that the story recognized that kids wouldn't immediately like go to kill each other, and they would form friend groups and instead try to explore, how exactly would those friend groups break down, what would uh, what would happen there. I really liked the scene with the poisoning of the spaghetti because I thought that was really good tension, and I also thought at the same time, like, that was a really good way of exploring how a bunch of very scared, uh, a bunch of very scared teenagers, um, would inevitably, just start to fight each other out of just complete and sheer um, terror at the fact that one of them could be trying to kill the others. I thought that was very well done. Yeah, I liked the tone of the film. I will say, uh, sometimes I felt like the villain who was like the guy who went in there willingly. I didn't quite get that, and I felt like he was a little bit of like an edgy inclusion to the story, and I will admit the whole idea of the death game in this specific universe didn't quite really make sense to me because at least in the Hunger Games, like it's something to actively put the people down, but in this, it's like I've said my piece. I won't go any further on about that. But either way, I liked it. I liked this film a lot. Solid 3 out of 5. Chris?
I'd rate this inconsistent. Uh, there were things that I enjoyed about it, but the overall stupidity of the characters made it very hard to uh, empathize or care. Uh,
When you say stupidity, what do you mean?
like,
Those
why the
chicks
fuck
who
didn't the person with the gun who knows that the girl with the comma is like a killer who killed and probably stole from people that she knew, just shoot them? Why did she get close to the person she knows has like a melee weapon? Like, come on, save the monologues, just shoot him.
I was gonna complain about the two girls who announced their position, but then
Yeah,
I was gonna then I sort of realized okay, we're bringing up the Hunger Games again. Before
No, that's the point.
Cameron's
No, that's the point.
opinion piece. So in the Hunger Games, it was sort of what I was gonna bring up when Chris said like, oh, people died in stupid ways at the beginning. Because I thought this is what Chris was going to talk about. So in the Hunger Games, this has been happening for 75 years. So by now they know what to do and what not to do. Whereas this is like teenagers who have just been thrust into a scenario. So of course they're going to act like idiots. I was literally like whisper shouting at my TV like, you fucking idiots. I told a friend that I was watching Battle Royale, and they were like, if you were in that scenario, what would you do? And I was like, probably get some sort of ranged weapon or hope to get one. And then I saw them announce their positions, and my first thought was, well, I'm not gonna fucking do that.
Yeah, and
That's the last
guess what?
thing that
They
I'm
got
gonna
shot
do.
for it.
Exactly.
But the thing is that killing a human is actually surprisingly hard to do, shocker. Um, like,
I'll put that to the test.
no,
No.
seriously, Chris, it's been it has been like scientifically proven that the reason why soldiers dehumanize the enemy is not simply because, and usually out of racism, but it is also a strategic thing because we're built as a social species and humans, and killing other humans isn't necessarily built within us to be something that we're meant to be able to do. It's something you have to force yourself to do. And particularly children who were just on a bus previously, who did just classes together and goofed around and knew each other probably since they were much younger, since seventh grade, it seems. Like, I mean, yeah, I'd probably attempt to appeal to my classmates' humanity to a certain extent. Like, I know how
It's
to fire a gun doesn't necessarily mean I ever want to, nor would I be able to fire it at another person.
it's
Like,
why the transfer student was so able to it was able to just mindlessly kill.
he didn't know anybody, so you can
Exactly.
much easier. It's much easier for you to just be able to kill. And I think that the thing I actually liked about this movie was that the characters didn't behave in a super rational way. I know you call it idiotic, Chris, but I'm really gonna have to push back there because I, yeah, it's a bit dumb, but like, man, do you remember the people we went to school with? Do you remember us in school? Do you remember how we were when we were 15? Bro, we were stupid as hell. And when you tell a bunch of 15-year-olds that you have to kill each other within 3 days, otherwise all of your collars are gonna go boom. Um, yeah, it makes sense that they made a lot of really stupid decisions, like announcing their position to everybody and saying like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, like we're over here, guys. Why don't we just come together and work this all out?" Because I mean, you've known each other for so long. And on the position of the girl who was approaching them with the melee weapon, she didn't know she had a melee weapon. She didn't know what the weapon was that the girl
He
she
was
killed in the
literally
shed had.
attacked with a comma.
Yeah, she was attacked with a karma, but the karma was stuck in the pole. She didn't have it up until that point. She approached her because she thought she was out of weapon. She didn't know she had a taser on her.
Okay,
And she was
but
doing a she okay, no,
ultimate.
no, let me finish.
Mm,
And she was doing a monologue because the girl stole her boyfriend. Because the girl who was on the ground stole her boyfriend and spread gossip about everyone else. And this clearly was and the girl that she killed was that girl who was trying to kill her's friend. Like, you can say, "Oh, why are you monologuing? Why are you monologuing? That's so stupid." But I don't know, man. That kind of makes sense to monologue. Like,
I don't
it's
think so.
Well,
oh my
it's easy
god.
to say that, Chris, when you
Right,
are just a viewer.
right. If your end goal is to have a gun to someone's head, and you know that you're probably gonna kill them, and you're gonna monologue, why do you do it in front of someone that could grab it?
Well, no,
Keep
but
your
she couldn't
distance.
grab it. She couldn't grab it. The point was that she had a gun pointed towards her, and it wasn't until she pulled out the taser, which she didn't realize she had, and then got her down on the ground. They struggled for the gun, and then she shot her. Like,
My point is that you shouldn't put yourself into a position where you can be grabbed.
no, but
Chris,
that's
she is a
not
100%.
everybody's.
15-year-old
No,
girl who has never watched, probably had never watched anything like that. It's easy to say that from an outsider perspective. If you're just watching it on a TV, you can just say, "Oh, she should have done this."
Right. If I've got a gun, say, I know it's a ranged weapon. Why would I get close to someone when I can just shoot them from afar?
yeah, it's really sick that it's you. But if you had a gun to somebody who stole your wife from you and spread lies about you and killed
I'd
your
just shoot
friend,
him.
that's cool, man. But it's a teenage girl who very clearly didn't like the main villain girl, who should have survived till the end, in my opinion. She was a pretty good antagonist.
Yeah.
Um, like, she very clearly didn't like her, and she always had these things that she wanted to say to her. And the whole crux of the death game, as we can see, is that it's also a way for the students to bring up their grievances against each other in an inherently deadly way. You're missing all the subtext and all the metaphor text for something that's so painfully literal and frankly boring. Like, if she just shot her there, that's a lot of tension in the film gone.
It's like all the
And
emotion
again,
taken out of it.
yeah, and again, she didn't know she had the taser. She thought she had her dead to rights. She was just enjoying the meal and telling
Yeah.
her everything she thought before she killed her. I think that makes sense, and I think
I
you can.
don't. I don't.
I don't know what you enjoy, man.
I enjoy fuckery or shit that I can just like lay down and watch and enjoy.
Fair, I guess.
To speak on that point though, I think that actually, hang on. Do any of you have anything else to say before I start speaking?
Not really.
I was just gonna say that it's very okay. I know that the director said he was inspired by like a dream he had. It's sort of similar to like the whole Hunger Games creation of like, oh, I just saw these two things and this idea popped in my head. Um,
Mm.
but like, it's very clear there is a lot of inspiration taken from the whole nature versus nurture theory and the Lord of the Flies, especially. Um, like
Oh, big time. Yeah.
it's the you it's sort of like, especially from the teacher's perspective, he hates these kids. He thinks that they're just immediately going to go around and kill each other because it's like the whole, like, it's in their nature to kill or whatever. But just like in the Hunger Games, we see time and time again that it's just not true, that they are just not going to just kill everyone. Like,
I think a good example of that is Chigusa with being point blank with a crossbow to her head, and then just being like, "No,
nah,
stop
fuck
talking
you.
shit about me. I'll fucking stab your dick off," and then she does.
It's like
Yeah, sorry,
like
go.
like the a big part of the Hunger Games is that they're trying to, show that the districts are just animals and stuff, right? But we see time and time in the Hunger Games, we see Katniss lay out flowers for Rue. We see Thresh refuse to kill her because she protected Rue. We see in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes the guy from District 11 laying out all their bodies and closing their eyes so they look like they fell asleep peacefully. Like, the government is clearly trying to show, or like in this instance in Battle Royale, like the teacher thinks that they're just these barbaric animals when we clearly see that that's just not the case.
I will also add on top of that, um, I think to add on top of that, another thing is that to compare this also to the Purge movies, which does sort of a battle royale thing decently well, unironically. I think it's telling that in the Hunger Games and in Battle Royale, the main people who do a lot of the killing are essentially like government sponsored. Like in this, it's an anime swordsman transfer student, and in the Hunger Games, it's the students who have literally been training for the Hunger Games and volunteer as tribute, which is kind of subtle for saying they're trained by the government to do all the animalistic stuff to make the Hunger Games brutal, to force people to kill each other
And entertaining.
and entertaining. Which I think is something always good to include in this, because it's a good thematic element. Because as I said, human beings aren't primed to kill each other. If if it was legal to walk up to the homeless person down your street and beat them to death, I guarantee you still wouldn't do it because you just wouldn't want to.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
We absolutely have had this conversation before.
I have. It's my main example that I bring up when people are like, "Oh yeah, like human beings are inherently just evil creatures," and I'm like, "Go on, beat that homeless person up over there. Go on, do it."
I had that exact
Inherently evil.
conversation in my teenage development class when I was still in my education degree. Um,
Hmm.
someone some girl in the class was like, I think humans are inherently wicked, and I'm like, okay, then do something. Like, prove that they're inherently wicked. It's like, you're not going to just go up and beat someone for no fucking reason. Like, I think that argument is just inherently flawed because, like, it's sort of like similar opinions of those people who say, like, oh, like, the only reason they have morality is because they're religious, or like because the Bible says not to kill. That's the only reason they won't kill someone. It's like,
Thou shalt not kill. However, how many people died in the Bible?
anyway, that's not the point, Cameron. The point is that, like, these people just, like, will say that, oh, the Bible is the only reason they won't kill someone. It's like, I guarantee you that's not the reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's stupid to try to pretend that you only have morality because of the Bible.
Very, very small side tangent about the Bible plot. There's the testament that there's the commandment of thou shalt not kill. Yet Cain kills his brother, and then gets fucking wicked superpowers because of it. Like, come on.
I believe it's thou shalt not murder, which is different.
No, it's thou shalt not kill.
Yeah, if there was a thou shalt not murder, it's most likely when the church wanted to do a crusade.
Yeah.
Crusade?
But yeah, no. Cain gets fucking immortality, super strength, super speed.
To be fair, he also goes to hell.
Yeah. He's basically the fucking Doomslayer in there, though. Like, come on.
What do you mean? He gets tortured for all eternity.
Yeah, he's still a fucking superpower. I don't know.
Okay,
If I was given that opportunity,
is it
I
time
know what I'm
for
doing.
is it time huh?
Whoa.
Is it time for Cameron's thesis?
No, actually, because just naturally, we've basically discussed my points regarding this movie. And
Aight.
as to why it's better than the Hunger Games.
Okay, why is it better?
Because it gives a much closer look at the human's perspective, the character's perspective, and that also, like, everyone used. Trying to put it into words properly. Every character that you see die gets at least a little bit of screen time and character development.
No.
Minus like 3.
No, there are a few characters who die off screen.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, minus like 3.
I'm not sure if I'm too
Right.
emotionally invested in Bike Boy.
And I think that's a good thing, Christopher. I think that proves my point. The fact that going back to what I mentioned previously with the Chickasaw scene, the gossip that was being referred to earlier then gets linked to these characters as well, with them already having a predetermined relationship and telling him to fuck off. I think it gives a much better view to these characters than what the Hunger Games does, because you see, like, the people that are killed in the Hunger Games by, like, Katniss and stuff like that, you don't really know who they are.
Even in the books, some of them aren't named.
Exactly, right? But at least, like, with this, there is actual dialogue. There is motivation to kill. And a lot of the time, there isn't a motivation to kill other than the situation that they've been put into, right? But
That's
when there are, like, I forget her name now, but when she kills her bully via ambushing her with a gunshot in the building, and then, like, after she's shot, she starts monologuing about all the horrible things that she's had to put up with. It gives a much deeper look into these people and their relationships with each other. Not that you're supposed to care about these people dying. God, no. That defeats the purpose of the movie if you do. Um, Other than the main characters. But then again, it actually shows some form of a social complex with each of these characters. It makes them more human and fleshed out.
I don't know
And
too much about the Hunger Games movies, but I mean, from what I saw in the Hunger Games movies, there was a few scenes where you got to see like at least a few of the characters. I understand that there's probably more characters that we get to interact with in a bit of depth in this movie, but I felt like the characters in the Hunger Games got, for those that were like done, pretty deep dialogue.
yeah, and I think like I can't deny the fact that characters like Rue, when Rue dies, that is a big plot point, right? That is heartbreaking, and it ends up like plot wise, it ends up being the cause of a whole rebellion. But it's just I will go back to what I said in my Hunger Games video. Sorry, in the Hunger Games episode. It's sanitized. The Hunger Games is horribly sanitized with its violence, and this movie just isn't.
Well, I think
You
that's because they were trying to get a PG-13 rating, which makes me very interested as how they're going to do Sunrise on the Reaping. But
yeah,
that's all I'm gonna
but
say without getting into spoiler territory, since the book
I
only
think
just came
that
out.
I think the fact that it's sanitized means that you can't use it as an effective tool to have these characters communicate through, and you see that in the Hunger Games and this movie, where because of like there is no interaction between Katniss in a bush, killing someone. Like let's take the massive alliance that you see in the first Hunger Games movie that has a shitload of stockpiles, right?
Hmm.
When one of them when one of them dies, there was no interaction there. You do not care who that person was at all. You did not know who that person was. That was just a actor. That was an extra that they pulled off the street for all you know. At least with here, there is dialogue before, during, or after each fight, and it shows an actual emotional impact on the relationships and the people.
I mean,
So I think having the movie be not sanitized with its violence is makes things much more effective because it shows how brutal they have to be to kill their classmates.
I mean, my only argument to your point, Cameron, is that in the Hunger Games, other than your district mate, you've never met these other people before. And the entire point of the Hunger Games is that you were watching it from the perspective of the Capitol. You don't actually care about these characters because they're just random kids. The whole point is that the Capitol doesn't care and they just like watching violence. So, like, I feel like those like moments where you get to know a character isn't the point because you're not supposed to.
Yes, but
Because it's
take
also
someone like
because
Katniss.
well, Katniss is also an unreliable narrator.
Yes, but we don't see much of an emotional impact on the killing.
Well, no, but the thing is, okay, the thing is that she wants to care, but she can't. Like, in a similar way, she hasn't really gotten to know a lot of these people. A lot of these people, her only interaction with them um, you know, oh, we're gonna kill each other, Lamau. I can't wait to kill you, 12. You know, like the thing with Katniss and the deaths in Hunger Games is that she's numb to it, but she's forcibly numb to it. Like she's had to numb herself to it. That's what separates her and Peter, is that if she wasn't numb to it, everything would immediately overcome her. But the thing is that the moment that someone dies that she cares about, i.e. Rue, it completely shatters her and nearly gets her killed. Like, it's the danger of connection in a world where you may have to kill the person that's next to you. It's part of the Hunger Games, and so, but she's not just, but she's a character which, you know, has purposely tried to keep herself separate from others.
Also, like what Alex said earlier, the majority of the characters who do the killing are the ones who are professionally trained to kill, i.e., like they're completely desensitized and they don't actually like see them as people that they're killing. They're just targets.
Yeah, and if they fail now, then they fail their whole life. They've essentially just been brought up as trained killers, which is pretty dark when you think about it.
And
Okay.
also,
But sorry, go ahead.
it's like in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, one of the people from, I believe, 4, like, literally says, I kind of killed these people for nothing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm referring entirely to the first Hunger Games movie. That's the one that I have a problem with.
Okay, yeah, but
I think my problem with it.
I don't want to be the friend that's too woke, but I think saying and comparing the movies on the quality of how brutally you get to see a bunch of children get murdered is kind of a freakish thing we're arguing.
No, that's not what I'm arguing here.
It kind of sounds like what you're arguing.
I'm entirely aware. No, what I'm saying is that there is no point to it with the Hunger Games, and I know that is the point. But there is, to me, I just physically, if there is no point to this violence that directly impacts the characters experiencing it.
No, but you're wrong.
Go on.
You're just wrong. Did you watch the Hunger Games?
Yes.
The whole point of the opening scene is that it does influence Katniss. It separates her from Peter. The reason why the whole music cuts out and it's just a single ringing is that it's fight or flight, and Katniss's inability to connect with others and partial to that. It does affect Katniss. She's just not breaking down and crying because she's a huntsman and she's forcibly dissociated herself. She has forcibly made it so that way she is not feeling, so that way she's much easier to help and comprehend the Hunger Games. She's had multiple days to get ready. That's why Haymitch takes a liking to her, is because she already has that fighting spirit, but it does affect her. It just affects her in a lot less of a visual way. I think I get the protagonist, the sort of self-insert protagonist that anyone can implant themselves on in Battle Royale is meant to be somebody who's like, you know, is meant to be someone like reacting in the most reasonable way, right? But the world of Battle Royale and the world of Hunger Games are two very separate worlds. Hunger Games has had years and years, decades even, of a fascist occupation after a post-apocalyptic event instituting a game that systematically dehumanizes people, right? The whole point of Hunger Games is different to that of Battle Royale. If anything, I don't think you can compare the two movies, because Battle Royale is a bunch of clueless students being flung into a world where they're expected to kill the people they went to school with, which, whilst it's also a good protest movie, also is kind of, I can also see similarities to the Japanese work culture of how people who immediately leave school are thrust into a world that no one likes, and they have to compete with everyone they went to school with, or die, or, you know, commit suicide.
I think a better comparison to Battle Royale is Alice in Borderland.
I mean, yeah, the reason why, sorry, I have to respond to something in my server as a director. The reason why fucking, high school anime is so popular in Japan is not because all of them are pedophiles. It's because that's some of the last happy memories people in Japan have, right? Of being able to hang out in high school and not being stuck in the terrible fucking work culture. And if anything, I think that's a more resonant message you can take from this film. But Hunger Games is an explicit uh, message on the glamorization of horrendous acts of violence. The reason why the first hour of Hunger Games is dedicated to the press circuit of it is to set up the dichotomy between that and the start of the Hunger Games, where we see Katniss has to completely dissociate, otherwise she's going to die. We see Katniss's whole bravado and personality essentially retreat deep inside of her. She abandons Peter. She doesn't even know if he's alive, and then she has to go on the run, and she's scared for her life for most of the film, and we see her pretty much in fear until Rue, and then it all cracks and breaks down. I think saying that the Hunger Games violence has no impact is simply just dumb.
That's
I
not
think
what I'm saying.
it
It
is.
kind of
That is
is,
what you're
though.
saying.
No, okay. No, I did not say it had no impact because I agree that when it comes to Rue, holy fuck.
No, but every other death is impact too. It's just there's 12 of them. They can't kill as many children in different graphic ways as they do in Battle Royale.
Which is a problem.
No, it isn't. If anything, I don't think we need any more films about children getting brutally
If
murdered.
anything, it proves the point more that these are just it just sort of proves the point more that the capital doesn't see them as people, it just sees them as things. They're just objects. It kind of proves the point more that we don't see all these moments. And to bring up my comparison with Alice in Borderland, it's also a battle royale show where it's random people who have never had any of this sort of thing happen to them. It's not technically a battle royale. The second season is more battle royale than the first.
It's more of a game show, if anything.
Okay. It has more themes with Battle Royale than it does the Hunger Games or Squid Games, because, first of all, our main character, Arisu, comes into this world with his best friends, and spoilers for Alice in Borderland, in the third episode, he has his friends die so that he can live. And then in the second season, we actually see they have to actually watch the face card holders die so that they can live. It's and there's a lot more personality with the characters, and I don't know, I feel like it's a better comparison to make in terms of character arcs and storylines and emotional responses than the Hunger Games. Because the Hunger Games is all about dissociating from these characters. At least in the first one.
Also, to add a final note, and to make this episode definitely get blacklisted from a country that starts with I and ends with Israel.
Yes.
The reason why this film sort of strikes a chord with me, and partially because I kind of don't want any more of these films on the list, any more films that's just pointless graphic violence to unsuspecting children, is because now with 2 years of the genocide in Gaza and with the horrible images that I have seen that have come out with this, I've seen enough dead kids for my entire life. I've seen some truly horrible things, and seeing this film, I'm realizing now that I just think of that. I get this film's message and the things it's gonna take, but I also think that making graphic violence isn't necessarily always a draw, because I think that some audiences and some filmmakers will just I think some audiences will just see the graphic violence directed at children and directed at young people, and the behead with the grenade, and they'll think, yeah, this is really cool, we need more graphic violence things. Then you get like some random anime which comes out like Blood Sea, which is essentially just a gore fest. And I think anyone who really derives that much enjoyment from gore should really go see a psychiatrist.
Mm.
Like, I think that if that's what makes you watch something, is to watch a human get brutally pummeled in or maimed in some horrible way,
Put into
and
a
that's the
rabbit bunny
enjoyment you
blender.
take out of something, then I think I'm at the point of my life where I just find that kind of disgusting. So to a certain extent, I kind of appreciate the Hunger Games for not doing that. I kind of appreciate the Hunger Games for not making it a gore fest, because though I like this film, I can definitely see that there are going to be people who watch and claim that they love this film, and the main reason is going to be because I get to see cute girls get murdered.
Ugh.
Mm.
I think,
At least
especially in
At least the
Japan.
Hunger Games kept to its theme.
In Japan, especially in anime, there is so much fucking just like fan service in terms of like violence fan service, because fan service isn't always just like cute uwu girls. like okay, High School of the Dead is both.
Oh my god.
But but like even something like Blood Sea, which gave me nightmares as a kid. Something like fucking, okay, this is kind of a bad example, but Mirai Nikki, like
Madoka Magica. There you go.
absolutely not. No. That Madoka Magica is not an example of that. It is not just violence. It is
Example
not
what?
just violence for the sake of violence. And it's also not that graphic.
Ooh. Gave me nightmares as a kid, man.
Really?
Oh no, I'm talking about
Yep.
the not the infantilization, the use of killing teenage girls as a selling point.
I wouldn't call it a selling point.
That was the main reason that a lot of people watched it. They saw the first episode. That was like the hook of the first episode.
That is kind of my Doomer pill take, I guess, is that you can have as many groundbreaking political satire pieces you want, but unfortunately, uh, we as humans were never meant to take in this much information. We were never meant to make it this far, and yet we have. And so some people naturally watch stuff just for the sake of watching stuff. I mean, fair enough. Life's tough. I don't necessarily blame you for that. But then when they watch something like a Battle Royale, when they watch something like a Hunger Games, they can just take away like, ooh, that would be bad, or ooh, that would suck, or hey, I like mindlessly watching these people get killed in all these graphic ways because it makes me feel something. They don't take away the internal thought of all of this. And that's sort of my issue with this film, is that it's very graphic. I found the scene where the two girls were revealing their position, and they got gunned down and then like toyed with, to be very disturbing. I don't think I'm gonna be revisiting this film for a while. It's disturbed me, and the
Fair
fact that
enough.
this isn't even the worst that film has ever gone to when it comes to just the sheer torture of other human beings is
Serbian film.
that disturbs me even more. So yeah, I don't know if I preferred this or the Hunger Games, to be honest. I think they played at different strengths.
Mm.
Does that help, Cameron?
No, I see. Yeah, but no. I'm trying to think of how to put it into words. Yeah, no, I think that actually does make a lot of sense. It's well, I mean, they are trying to portray very different messages. They're discussing different topics at the end of the day. So,
So why were we comparing it in the first place? Is it just because they're both death game movies?
yeah, no, that's literally it.
My
Bruh.
point proven. My point proven.
Bro, fucking again, Mirai Nikki would have been a better fucking example. Alice in Borderland is a better comparison. Fucking Dead Man Wonderland is a better comparison,
Where's
Cameron.
my JJK rap at?
Dead Man Wonderland is a better damn comparison since it's just a Battle Royale knockoff essentially.
Well, yeah, I'd say I'd have more contempt for the things that knocked this off because, like, what like what political statement are they? What are they making?
Mirai Nikki
nothing.
is just cute yandere girl. Dead Man Wonderland is just cute yandere girl, but more violent than Mirai Nikki. Actually, no, it's not yandere girl. It's psychopath girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most death game anime is it's that's when it gets to a point of violence for the sake of violence. All the time.
At least Alice in Borderland has a real message.
Yeah. I think
And it's
like
peak.
probably the worst example. Actually, a good example of violence going too hard was for me the opening couple of episodes for Bungo Stray Dogs.
Ain't no way.
When I first went and watched that, I've gone back since and rewatched it, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. However, but the first time I ever attempted to watch Bungo Stray Dogs, it was just too much.
What are you talking about? Are you thinking of the correct
episode
anime?
Yes. No, I'm this and JJK.
Huh?
Yeah, no, seeing that woman get burnt alive in JJK was too much for me. But with Bungo Stray Dogs, it was seeing the constant gunning down of people. At the time, I was going like when I saw it, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to watch that right now.
I feel like you're thinking of Psychopaths.
No, I've watched Psychopaths. Also that is one for the list, but no, Bungo Stray Dogs.
No, okay, no. Psychopaths is not one for the list because it actually has a message. And Bungo Stray Dogs, what on earth are you talking about, brother?
I will find it later and show you, but for me personally at the time, it was too much. Like, I've gone back and watched it and I was like, I can deal with it, but it was just too much at the time.
Are you sure you're thinking of the right anime?
Yes, I'm very
Cameron,
sure.
I have literally like rewatched the show recently. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, different people have different levels of tolerance to death. I think we've thoroughly reached the impasse of the neither Hunger Games nor actually Chris.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is better, Hunger Games or Battle Royale?
I don't like either of them, to be perfectly honest. So.
Who won? You decide.
Leave it up to the
Epic
comments.
Battles of history.
I thought that Katniss was smarter and probably enjoyed the Hunger Games marginally more.
Huh. Well, that's a sentence I never thought I'd hear Chris say.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Really? You seemed like you were liking Battle Royale when we were watching it. Because you.
I liked it, but I can't in all honesty say with my whole heart that, oh yeah, I loved how they just had 1 billion magazines. It was really, really funny. I'll give it that. But I can't say that, yeah, Katniss Everdeen, like, doing all that shit pissed me off, even though it was kind of funny. Like,
Well, actually, I think with
Yeah.
Katniss was that she used a bow and you could see how many arrows she had left. Wasn't that a thing that she ran out of arrows eventually?
No,
Oh,
She didn't run out.
The second film.
I think it. I don't think she ever ran out of arrows, no, to be completely honest.
I mean, she
Look.
could have just picked them back up.
No, bro just picked up the bullets after he was done with
Well, like, tore it out of their bodies.
That coming from you of all people physically hurts to hear, Alex.
He picked up the bullets and he reloaded every mag
Where was the gunpowder, Alex?
in his asshole.
Oh my
We
god.
established this, Cameron.
Okay,
No.
I will say something. Personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to these sort of death games. There's always a side plot which is really interesting, but by the nature of there being a protagonist and an antagonist in these things, they always get killed right at the end, and I guarantee you know what I'm talking about. The guys who hacked the system and made the bombs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see more from them.
I wanted to
I
see them
kinda-
blow up the place.
Yeah, I wanted to see them blow up the place, but they kind of thought, like, I didn't get the hacker dude's whole thing of just like blowing up the bombs himself. Like, I would have found it more cool if like he was bleeding out and then he went full throttle into where the soldiers were. I think that would have been like a better way to resolve that plot than simply just have them all die unceremoniously so the final battle takes place in like a bunch of fire. I don't know. I was just a bit disappointed by that because I was like, those are some of my favorite characters. I liked their friendship. I liked the fact that like they were like, yeah, we're not gonna kill each other, and they went, oh god, no, we'd never kill each other.
I will say I liked seeing where anime, especially that I've watched, where they got their ideas from. The second, like the very second I saw those collars, I like pointed at the screen and I'm like, Dead Man Wonderland. Because that is the exact. Well, no, because it's very clear that is where the inspiration for those collars came from. Is Battle Royale. It's where the inspiration for the collars in Alice in Borderland that are used like 2 separate occasions came from, like. And also the whole like laser coming down from the sky and killing them in Alice in Borderland is very clearly a reference to like, oh, we will just explode your collars. Huh?
I was about to ask you when the fuck the laser thing happened
No.
in the film.
Okay, so
Oh,
basically
you watch the right version, Chris.
the way that they die to time essentially in Alice in Borderland is that they run out of days on their visa to be in the Borderlands. It's a whole thing, and a laser comes down from the sky and shoots them. They definitely got the idea of somewhere a remote like thing will kill them. Like it was definitely inspired by Battle Royale, and they're having like, oh, you can die from a distance sort of thing, you know. Also, like bombs in the collar. Fucking what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Oh, shut up! Shut up! I swear, I'm gonna throttle you. I knew you would fucking say that.
I don't know. I think it was nice to see where a lot of references sort of came from in popular media. I like seeing the thing that a lot of things are inspired by.
You didn't like Space Odyssey, though.
Yeah, because Space Odyssey sucked, Cameron.
I liked Space Odyssey, kinda.
Oh well, good for you,
Wow,
Alex.
That's crazy.
You didn't rate it better than Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries.
I have explained my rationale.
Interview with the Vampire is better.
Oh, same thing.
I've explained myself thrice now, Cameron.
4 times. Quattro.
Okay.
You're telling me that you don't want Tom Cruise in a blonde wig?
Yeah, Tom Cruise in a blonde wig.
Honestly, I don't want Tom Cruise at all.
Pre-Scientology Tom Cruise
I don't
was
care.
great.
I just cannot
Can
get
we
it.
have Tom Cruise bald?
No.
I would actually, if
That would be funny.
if 2001: A Space Odyssey had Tom Cruise bald, then yeah.
I'm gonna make
I'm
an
gonna
edit
re-edit the
of,
film to have
I'm
bald
gonna
Tom
re-edit that.
Cruise.
Stanley Kubrick be damned. It's my movie now.
Shall we get on to cookies? Because I
Cookery.
have a cookie ready.
I also have
Same
a cookie
here.
ready.
So my cookie is gonna go to the teacher.
God fucking damn it.
And the teacher that I'm gonna give him the cookies that the girl made.
God damn it, that was what I was gonna say.
I knew you were gonna say that's why we did it first.
Fuck you.
I was also gonna do it.
Was that what Cameron was gonna do?
No.
Oh, come
I
on, it
should've
would have
said
been
yes to the
funny.
bit. I
Yeah, it
should've said
should have
yes to
been
the bit.
funny.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, you
No,
can
I
edit
think-
it here now.
No.
Yes, that's what I was going to do.
I'm not doing that.
Definitely. Mhm.
I'm not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's way too late
Damn.
to be doing that
Too
kind
much
of shit.
effort.
Yeah, I have work
But
tomorrow,
no,
man.
I gotta keep it $1.50. Genuinely the most entertaining character on the screen besides some of like the side characters. The main character was a little bit bland. Like I liked his whole like why are we killing each other thing, but at the same time it's like
Gets a bit old.
Like, you know, it gets a bit older after a while. I wanna and like oh no, my dad killed himself. You know, too bad.
Damn.
Damn.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I felt like I didn't really delve deeper into that. It was just, oh yeah, my dad killed himself. Oh man.
Oh,
Like,
man.
The
Oh
fuck?
man, Dad's dead.
oh man. But I did quite like the teacher. I loved how absolutely tired he was. I loved how strangely like sadistic he was. I kind of liked how petty his gripe was. Just like, you guys were mean to me in my year 7 class, and now I've helped orchestrate this entire thing to like watch you all die. I liked his thing where he
Sound
said,
logic.
I liked where his thing where he was like, oh yeah, only 3 of you have died. You're slacking. I'm very disappointed in you.
Oh yeah, that's the
Oh, no,
other
that's not
thing. I
logic.
didn't quite understand the
Also,
ending, but anyway.
Also, I did really like how he got up at the end out of spite and then was like, I'm just gonna tell my daughter I hate her and then I'll die.
Baller.
I gotta be honest,
I'm
I
gonna-
didn't pick him for that reason. I was just lazy.
I'm going to go outside. Cameron, who'd you give a cookie to give these two some time to reconsider?
No, I'm not
I'm gonna give it to-
reconsidering.
Okay.
I'm considering.
I'm giving it to my favorite character of the whole movie. Who once again, the third time I mentioned this person, Fugasa, because I don't know, stabbing someone's dick off is just iconic, and I'm
That's
giving her.
bro. When I watched that scene, all I said was, "I love women in STEM."
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck are Quest
and-
cookies? Those
okay,
look disgusting.
so these are no, they're peak. Oh my god.
They look like shitty
Um,
Oreos.
No, they are cookies and cream protein bars.
Yeah, so shitty
because
Oreos.
Because she is on the track team.
She's a runner. She's
she
a track
needs more
star.
protein in her diet.
Wait, marathon
Oh.
or sprint?
I don't know. If I know.
That changes a lot, actually.
Chris, it does not matter.
I'm gonna say marathon
It
because she was
does.
doing. I was gonna say marathon because she was doing long distance running when that guy came up behind her. So, I would say that she's a marathon runner.
More energy intake needed then.
See, now, honestly, I only picked the teacher because I was feeling really lazy. My favorite character was actually the guy who had been in it before. What's his face? What's like Kawanada or something?
Bandana
Kawada?
multi-dad.
Huh?
Bandana multi-dad.
Yeah, him. Multi-dad. Yeah, my dad was a doctor. Oh, my dad was a chef. Oh, my dad was a fisherman. Best character, peak cinema. Okay, you know what? I will give him. I will change my cookie. Fuck you, Alex.
What if he was all three, actually? I mean, think about it. Like, he went an arm, he could have been like a combat medic that was just like a handy cook.
I'm giving him one of those. It's not technically a cookie. It's like like the seaweed crisps, like the seaweed chips. His dad was a fisherman.
I'll accept that. Given how flexible the cookie actually is with this podcast, I'll accept that.
He was
Chris's
peak.
abstract
He's
cookies.
peak character design. And I don't even mean character. I just mean like personality wise. Chris, are you changing your cookie, or are we
Chris?
moving on to the wheel?
Did I give a cookie?
You said it was going to be the teacher.
Yeah, I'll keep with him. I'll give him a fortune cookie instead, but it still goes to the teacher. Actually, wait. You know what? I'm gonna give a fucking bullet cookie to the guy with a billion magazines. He'll love that. More shit to shove up his ass as well. It'll be rusty and filled with nails. My favorite fucking character.
Pulls a
Big.
katana out of fucking nowhere.
Out of his ass.
I
His
was like,
ass.
where the fuck did you get that?
Alright, well... Chris, what do you not want?
What do I not want?
Because
Let
I'm
me-
not gonna
let me
ask you
take
what
a
you
look, see.
want. I know what you want.
We know what it is.
We
at
know
this
what you
point.
want.
We need to stop making this a conversation because you guys already know.
Well, the rest of us don't know what we want.
Is
as
that
in, like,
25?
specifically with me.
Is that a
Hold on.
25% chance?
What don't you want? Like, what is something on this list you would actively hate watching this week?
What's Princess Diaries about?
It's
Oh,
Anne
that's
Hathaway. It's absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
Anne,
try not to
Anne
discriminate against
Hathaway
Tyler.
is a girl in high school who discovers she's
End of
secretly
Evangelion. End of Evangelion.
who
I don't
discovers
know.
she's
No,
secretly a
no,
princess.
No, you would love it, Christopher.
No, I do
Cameron.
not think he would.
Cameron.
Actually, you are lying to him.
Your gaslightery that comes out of you.
That's
is
Princess.
quite
That's
absurd.
Princess Diaries, Chris.
Shinji, what are you doing in the hospital?
Why do we have that on? Can we exchange that for something?
No.
You mean End of Evangelion? No.
Yeah. Oh, fuck's sake.
No. Because the bit is really funny that Cameron's the only one who has seen the rest of Evangelion.
Alright, well, who else? Who else?
Kaya, what do you want? What do you not want?
Come back to me.
Cameron.
Alright. What do I not want?
And what do you want?
Ooh. I don't want. I don't want to watch Kung Fu Panda.
What the fuck? That is blasphemy.
Odd choice.
No, that is a matter of. I'm not emotionally prepared to watch that movie again.
Really?
Yeah, no, Kung Fu Panda has a lot of. I have a very deep connection to that movie that I don't think I'm emotionally capable of right now.
And what do you want to watch?
What movie do I want to
What
watch?
are you emotionally prepared for?
Drive. Fuck it. Drive. I would also like to watch Godzilla 1, but I feel like that would make me a basic bitch for saying the same thing over and over again.
I feel like that's
Hey,
I feel like
Uh-huh.
Cameron, I feel
Hey,
like that doesn't
Cameron.
matter when Chris has wanted the same thing since the inception of this podcast.
Can I put you in a small hole?
What if I... So, what you're saying is that if I put you in a meat grinder, the only thing that comes out is your eye.
may or
Alex,
may
what
not
do you
be
want
the
and don't
small
want?
hole.
I don't want The Hobbit because I'm gonna be a basic bitch and say this again. I've heard Cameron's Tolkien takes. I think they're bad. And I'm not ready for the absolute screaming match we're gonna get into on the pod.
I cannot wait.
I think my Tolkien takes are valid. Thank
No,
you
they
very
are
much.
not.
What are your Tolkien takes? I want to hear.
No.
I can't be the only one in the room that doesn't know them. Give me like a dot point list, and I won't
Cameron
argue.
dislikes Tolkien. That's basically it.
I did not say that I dislike
Yes,
it.
you did.
Okay, I'm sorry, mister. I think it's boring. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid.
I don't think it's dumb. I just don't find it interesting.
You don't find any fantasy interesting.
That is entirely wrong.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
have
see
literally
what
said that you don't like fantasy.
Yeah,
You
because most is Tolkien based.
Okay, whoa. Okay.
Spray bottle, spray bottle.
Okay,
spray
Alex,
bottle.
what do you want?
Conan. Conan.
Are you resummoning it?
O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien.
What are you
Conan
doing?
O'Brien.
Not
Detective
Conan.
Conan.
No, not the highest grossing piece of anime ever.
Whatever will we
believe that?
do? Oh, yeah, absolutely I
Conan
can. It's been
O'Brien.
going on for like 5 million years. It's longer than One Piece. And Dragon
I
Ball.
know,
and
which is-
Bleach.
which
And
is
Naruto
all-
combined.
Which is insane.
Spin the fucking wheel already.
I haven't made my picks.
Oh,
I want
actually, that's
Conan-
true.
I want Conan the Barbarian because I want some pulp fantasy stuff that in real life Lovecraft is connected to. The guy who wrote Conan and H.P. Lovecraft were pen pals.
Wait, what?
My favorite factoid I've learned.
What the
Wait,
fuck?
really?
Friend. Yep, they both published to the same pulp magazine full of stories they wrote. They traded notes very frequently.
Was he equally as racist?
I don't think he
Oh,
was
right.
racist. He was very
Oh, he was-
disabled,
oh,
though.
no, he was racist.
I don't think
But,
anyone
like,
can be as racist as Lovecraft,
wasn't as
given the name
racist
of his
as-
cat.
Chris, have you seen some of the original descriptions and designs for the?
No.
Okay, sick. But yeah, I want Conan.
Can we summon up?
I
People
really,
of Earth, give me your energy.
I actually really don't know what I want. I don't want to watch Watchmen because I don't want to watch something shit. You know, Devil Wears Prada is really calling to me.
Oh, alright.
Well, with that, I think it is time to.
Wait,
pray
Chris,
to
what
whatever
don't you
was.
want?
Didn't I say?
End of Evangelion.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Two for two.
I mean, thanks for asking. You know,
Just making
thanks
sure
for passing by.
Just making sure.
Spin that wheel.
Move that
Turn the fuck
bus.
It'd be really funny if we got Conan this time.
No. Oh.
Hey.
I
Alright.
was actually gonna ask for that to be taken off the list, but well.
Wait, why?
Wait, why?
It's the most gory thing that I know.
It's also done in a comedic way, not a hey, let's kill children way.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And also Edgar Wright is peak.
I do quite like Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright might
We should
go.
we should all watch this together.
Hey audience, before you go and watch this movie if you haven't, do you know that there is a use of the N-word from a white person?
Mm-hmm.
It was made in 2004, and this person, from my knowledge, has said nothing about it since. Anyways,
Was it Simon Pegg or was it Nick Frost?
Nick Frost.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know he's playing Hagrid
Anyways.
in the new Harry Potter TV
You
series?
fucking what?
He's playing
fucking
Hagrid.
What? No, you're fucking kidding.
I'm
You're
not
fucking-
kidding. They also
you're fucking
cast I don't remember his name, but they cast a black guy as Snape, so now all the protagonists who were like, Snape looks suspicious, are just gonna look racist.
Yeah, there's also that scene where Harry's dad
Hangs him from a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
All the fact-
fuck?
Or the fact that that Snape's whole joining the Wizard Nazis thing is gonna look really tone deaf.
Or the fact that like Harry's mum calls him greasy and dirty. All the protagonists are just gonna look racist now.
Look, I'm just saying this. If you watch that Harry Potter series, even if you pirate it, I'm gonna give you some stern talking to.
I'm
Naughty,
really,
naughty.
really curious to see how bad it is, though.
I should do an Archon hunt.
Okay,
Subdue
what if I
Archon.
watch it solely for the purpose of
Oh,
reviewing it to
spiritual.
talk about how shit it is?
If you pirate it, then perhaps.
Of course I'm gonna pirate. I'm not buying HBO Max.
Not saying that I endorse pirating, by the way.
Yeah, we
Wink,
don't.
I
Wink,
will.
nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
Don't.
No,
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 Chris.
you're not, Christopher.
If you pay me money, I will.
No.
No, when no one's paying you money.
Well, then I won't endorse it. But I will if you pay me money.
No.
No, no one's paying you
Then I
money
w-
here.
then I
We
won't
Cut the
do
endorse
not
recording now. Cut the
endorse
recording now. Cut the recording
illegal
now.
things at the MovieJar podcast. Thank you for watching. Next week we will review Shaun of the Dead. Goodbye.
Hey, legal authorities. We don't associate with Chris anymore. Bye.
Oh.
Bye.